All right, Sam from the House of Zazz here with a couple members of As I Lay Dying. Tim?
Yeah, I'm Tim.
I'm Josh.
Josh. This is the last night of Mayhem.
Yep.
Now, you've been on tons of other festivals, Ozfest, Warped Tour. Is it like a festival is a festival, or is there something different about Mayhem?
I wasn't on the Ozfest that these guys did, but I would say,
Yeah.
as compared to Warped Tour, like the coolest thing about this festival is that everyone that comes to this show is here for the same thing, just here for heavy metal.
Yeah.
there's not pop punk bands, there's not pop or rap, hip hop bands. It's just metal. So pretty much it's just this like super energetic and aggressive like crowd that's really fun to play for.
And no broken bones or anything like that? Everyone's been behaving themselves on tour? Or?
No, yeah, nobody like in the bands had any issues. A couple days ago, this guy
fans
got knocked out. Knocked out cold in the pit, and we had to stop a song, stuff like that. But I mean, I think even that guy ended up going home having fun. So.
Speaking of injuries and things like that, Slayer's on this tour. I know you guys have covered War Ensemble. Have they let you jam that out with them yet?
No, I haven't really had many conversations with any of the Slayer guys except for Gary Holt, who's technically not even in Slayer. So
Yeah,
I know.
Gary hangs around a lot. The rest of the guys, I think, they stick to themselves a little more. But I mean, obviously, we'd love to do that.
Yeah.
We'd have to practice it a couple times. I don't think we've played it since we recorded it, but
I heard Gary's been on fire, so I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Oh, yeah,
It's
he's
amazing.
awesome. Yeah.
It's amazing.
And so you've got Cauterize out now. We've got still a little bit of a wait for the full album, but is that indicative of the rest of the songs? Is there going to be some 10-minute country jams on there?
Yeah, I mean, with every record, it's like, there's a little bit of diversity, and we try to have that first song come out that's something our old fans can latch on to, you know what I mean? But I hate using this word, but it's kind of like this safe release, like something that kind of covers the whole spectrum of what we do, from the really heavy side to a little bit of the melodic side and stuff like that. So
yeah, the chorus is wicked catchy. It almost reminds me of like a Machine Head tune or something like that.
Yeah.
So looking forward to hearing the rest of the stuff.
record itself is a little more diverse, so we're we want people to hear it, but unfortunately we can't do anything about that.
And so you're working with Bill Stevenson producing this time. How do you link up with him?
Actually, I think Josh and I were the biggest proponents of working with Bill originally because
my main reason was for his bass tone, honestly. Like I was just like, man, I want my bass to sound like this, because he's done like bands like Good Riddance and Rise Against that have like the best bass tones I think of all time recorded at least, and I really wanted that bass tone.
I play bass too, so sorry if I steer towards that for a second. But what kind of rig do you usually use?
Well, usually live I've done a few different things, but in the studio we always end up using like the SVT Classic with maybe a tube screamer or whatever. But on this record it was like 5 signals. It was like a Sansamp, DI, an SVT Classic with a tube screamer, and a 6505, like five different signals, like, and a guitar. Four signals and a guitar amp.
Tim, you're a bit of a multi-instrumentalist too. Do you ever tell him what to do?
No, I don't really chip in on Josh's tone. I definitely would prefer chip in on some of the guitar tones a lot of times. But, but for bass tone, I mean, Josh and Bill, those two minds together was definitely, I felt like I was, one mind too many, I guess.
Yeah. And the artwork so far, so you guys are not using Jacob anymore. Was it Metastasis doing the artwork for this?
Yeah.
Really cool. It looks like something from France in the early 1900s or something like that.
Yeah, interestingly enough, he's French, so he's that Art Nouveau style. For us, it's like we've been a band for 10 years, and so we wanted to mix it up a little bit, but, go to an artist we can kind of trust from his previous work, just checking out.
That last Black Dahlia Murder album was awesome looking. So,
I mean, it was one of those things where we're just like, all right, I'm sure he's going to kill it. Let's just give him an album title and let's see what he does,
Yeah.
So.
And so there's a lyric video out now, too, for Cauterize people can check out. Did you guys were involved in that in any way, or just kind of something the label put together?
I think we just sent a bunch of artwork, that Metastasis had done. Is that how you say it? I don't even know how to say it.
I don't know.
Yeah, we've only communicated through email. We've never seen him in person. But we sent him a bunch of the raw art that he did, and just let him do whatever he wanted with it.
So you guys did Download and the Rock am Ring, Rock am Park. How were those festivals this year?
Those were great. I mean, for us, Download was a weird experience because we played the main stage, was a great opportunity. I mean, we played the same stage as Metallica, but we in order to play, there was like the offer to play the main stage, you got to play early in the day. So all of us were literally like just wiping like the sleep out of our eyes, just like. I mean, it was a great show.
Stumbled up there, after we were used to going to, because when we go to Europe, we never, especially when it's that quick, we were only there a week and a half. We go to bed at like the American time, which ends up being like 7 a.m. over there. So we're like sleeping from 7 to 3 on normal days. So when we had to play at 11, we're waking up like, oh man, what's going on? But
the Rock am Ring, Rock am Park, they were incredible. We headlined. Did we headline or? Yeah. The stage we were on, I think we played.
Yeah, that's right. We did play.
We played second to last actually on the stage we were on, so that was like a totally different contrast of just playing playing for a night crowd, the actual light show, and
that's cool.
I prefer that obviously, but.
How, audience-wise, is there a big difference between the festival goers over in Europe and here? Is just kids with long hair?
Well, what I always tell people, and not just festivals, but shows in general, I think maybe sometimes the shows get a little more raucous over there, but it's because they let the kids drink beer at age. I mean, there's no drinking age, so there's kids like 14 or 13-year-olds in the parking lot just getting ripped before the show. You know? You go out and you're like, how old are these kids? But it's funny.
What's your typical day on the Mayhem tour? Do you try and stay indoors and cool as much, or do you get out and check out some of the other guys?
Yeah, I never really watch a band on a tour more than like 2 or 3 times.
A couple times, yeah.
Yeah, just because I feel like I don't want to take them for granted. The next time they come through town, we become friends. We hang out backstage and after parties, and the last thing I want to do is be like dreading going to see them when they come to town in San Diego when I'm home. So it's cool. I've really other than Slipknot, I think I've watched a few more times, but everybody else, just kind of check them out once or twice.
So what kind of tunings do you use primarily for your stuff?
I mean, almost all of our tunings, it's funny because everything was in drop C for a long time, but starting 2 records ago, there were some songs in drop D and drop C sharp, and then even on the last record, there's 2 songs in standard tuning, D standard, so it's like a step down from standard. But it's pretty standard. There's not anything crazy going on.
Does that mess with you vocally when you mess around with tunings, or is it all pretty close to each other?
No, I mean, well, for Josh, I think some of the tuning changes are because it puts it in a cooler range for him vocally. I mean, I only sing on a handful of songs. I mean, not even a handful. I sing literally on 3 songs and on all of our records. So actual singing. So.
Yeah, it is weird when we play like a block of 4 drop C songs and then we switch to drop D, and you mentally have to shift the key in your head. But I mean, it makes it easier to sing a lot of times. Like some of the songs, if they were in drop C, that register would probably sound less energetic, or it wouldn't have. I wouldn't be able to push it, because it would be so low. But
do you do like a 5-string, or do you do a 4-string with heavy gauge strings?
Just 4-string with heavy gauge. Just do 125 on the low string.
It makes a lot more sense than all the dudes with the 5-6 string craziness that never ever touch their high strings.
Yeah, I know.
Why don't you just get a 4-string?
Let me get a 6 so I can never touch any of those too. Yeah, I know. You guys are on soon today, or?
Yeah, 425, and I mean it's a good slot because it's basically the end of the side stage, and we were doing some main stage shows earlier on this tour. And it's cool because it's it's kind of a quality versus quantity thing, side stage we get the quality crowd, and then main stage we had just these huge, playing for 20,000 people, but sometimes it just was a little different with them in seats,
Definitely different vibes. I'd be yelled at for not asking if there's more Austrian Death Machine in the future.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because I talked to Josh about it. Hey, dude, next time we get off tour, let's record some songs, I talk about it every time.
We wrote some songs, and then it's tough to get it all, everybody rounded up and the time to do it.
And also me with having kids and stuff, I think I'm used to having my own selfish time a little bit more than these last couple of years, so
sure.
Everything's taken a little bit longer,
I'm looking forward to the new album and hope you guys kill it tonight. And you get to get a break after the last show, huh? So going back home and just taking it easy.
We have 2 days off, and then we have 2 shows with Slipknot asking Alexandria coming up. Just I guess they're arenas, I guess.
Cool. So right back into it then.
Well, just 2, so then we'll get
then you can relax.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us.